everybody, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. So it is day 20, or it was day 20, but we're still on day 20 for now. And today I'm going to show you how to paint some watercolor leaves. I'm using my MUNGYOU watercolor set, which has all the pastels in it. This isn't one of my most favorite palettes because I don't like opaque watercolor paint. It just makes it difficult when you want to control transparency. But this is a very nice palette. I do like their paints in general. Okay, so when I mix greens, I like to always add a little bit of brown to it. The brown tends to mute the sweetness or the freshness of the green, and then you get like a nice soft vintagey color. I'm not one for bright direct greens that you normally use from the palette. So painting leaves, it's all in the wrist and in the brush. You need a semi-good brush, or not a good brush, but a brush that's not been soaked in water with split ends. You can use a split end brush, but then the technique gets a little bit tricky. You have to turn the brush in order to make the point sharp. But it boils down to putting the brush down on its nib, pressing it down so that the belly of the brush opens, and then bringing it back up to a fine point. The best way to paint leaves is always to paint towards yourself, and always give yourself a guide. So I would first paint a branchy or a little stick from where the leaves would grow. It helps you to control your stroke and also to know where you're going. So when I start painting like a reef or something, I would use a compass to always draw out like guidelines. I would draw a center line, which would be my main branch reef, main reef branch, and then line on both sides as guides. So when I put down the leaves, I'd know that in order to control the roundness and the shape, I would not go further than this specific guide. It also helps you when you put down flowers to first put down flowers and then you add your fillers accordingly, and then it just helps to not make your reef go everywhere, and then you get a not universal, a more, I'm going to say universal round shape, instead of having an odd flower pop up here and an odd flower pop up there. So I just want to show you, for this, I like to use my watercolor brush to paint leaves. I find that using acrylic brushes or like a normal synthetic brush, it doesn't have a equal watercolor, like an equal paint, how can I say, paint displacement on the paper. However, if you aren't used to painting with a watercolor brush, I wouldn't suggest using that brush in your Bible, because watercolor brushes contain way more water than a normal brush. So sometimes your paper might be saturated with water, where if you use a normal synthetic brush, you don't have to worry about putting too much water on the page. So the first thing that I do is I use the center line to draw a guideline of where I'm going to put my leaves. And then I'm going to use two colors for this. So I'm first putting down like an olivey green, and then you'll see I keep on painting the leaves towards me. That way I have more control of where my leaf would start and where it will end. If you paint from the inside out, sometimes I find that you elongate your brush and you don't have like a more consistent stroke, because if I work from a point of where I can control it, I have a consistent stroke. So once I've added the first bunch of leaves, I'm just going to dry them out because I want to paint a second layer. Watercolor bleeds, so if you work wet on wet, you're going to have like a bleed mushiness of color, and especially for this type of artwork that I'm trying to achieve, I don't want it to bleed. I want it to have crisp and clear definition about what is kind of like green leaves and what are smaller fine filler leaves. If you play a lot with watercolors, you'll learn all these tips and tricks yourself. These are just things that I've learned over the course of time that helps me. So for my next color, I mixed a lot more brown. I still have like a green tinge to it, but I'm using a bit more brown just to have like something extra. And then you'll see I'm painting shorter strokes, so it's and also still painting towards me, not painting, so painting from the outside in, not painting from the inside out. And then I want to talk about this first. So this is now a very long time since I actually uploaded my last video, and I guess like coronavirus, lockdown, social distancing, it has opened up a lot of wounds that I'd forgotten, not forgotten, but like, for instance, how can I explain this? I went through a very difficult patch and still working through it, make no mistake. And now reading these entries again, I realized that God had already given me the answer way back when. And it just like this verse specifically that I'm doing here, which is Psalm 56 verse 3-4. Whenever I'm afraid, I will trust in you, and God, I will praise this word. In God I've put my trust. I will not fear. What can flesh do to me? And the funny thing is, like, one of the reasons I deleted my personal Facebook account is because I just got so overwhelmed with everything. You go onto Facebook and it's just all this end of the world stuff: coronavirus, vaccines, RFD chips, the Antichrist, economy that's falling, people are gonna die, death. Like, I got anxiety. I've never experienced anxiety, and now I've got anxiety. And not like physical, I'm not gonna say I suffer from anxiety, but I got this like, I can't breathe, it's too much. And now reading this, I just remembered that God says everything in these 2 verses that I needed to hear. And it's not like I don't, like I distance myself from Jesus. I was just so like Jesus, help me, please, Jesus, just like fix this, help me fix this. How can I figure this out? Help me. And then even last night, talking to someone about what I'm going through, she just reminded me that God is in control, and ultimately the only thing that matters is Him, not all this other stuff. And if we're afraid, we need to trust Him. We need to trust that He knows better, that He will do what He says He will do. And like, I kind of already feel much more lighter. Like, I'm still dealing with all this nonsense, and I'm still working through it, and I'm still seeking God. And even like here where He says, I will praise His word, not just His word, but even like His Bible, because the Bible gives us the truth. And the thing is, like, everything just went like way too crazy for me, and just filtering the noise and trying to reach a point where I can discern what is godly and what is not has been very difficult. And all this fear and anxiety and stuff that's mongering in the air with regards to the virus, everybody that's sending prophecies of end of the world, like, I just reached a point where I had had enough. And then reading this again, like, I just felt like God was talking to me, anchoring that I have to put my trust in Him, not worry about all the things of this world, and not to fear, because they can't hurt me. Like, they can't kill my soul and kill my spirit. They can't, because it belongs to the great I am. It belongs to God, and it is saved through Christ our Lord. And that's just something that, reading this tonight again, my brain just went like, God had already spoken to me. God had already given me what I needed to fight what I'm fighting personally. And I believe that there's a lot of people going through stuff with this virus, and like, talking about it made me feel ashamed, because at the one side, yes, I believe in Jesus, but at the other side, why am I struggling? And then I'm reminded that I'm a human, that it's okay to be weak. If I'm not weak, then I don't have dependency on Jesus. And for me, like, this last couple of days, I've just really gone back to stuff that I've known for so long, and stuff that I've not even known for so long, stuff that I know. So if you're out there and you're struggling also with discerning about what is godly and what is not, read this. Remember to trust in God. And I'm sure that whether it's Antichrist, Mark of the Beast, whatever nonsense people are saying, that God will reveal to us the truth, because we are His children and He loves us, and He will not let us perish and be uneducated about what's going on around the world. As long as you read the Bible, stick to the truth, spend time with Him, rest in Him, find your answers in Him. You'll get through this. I'm getting through this, irrespective of everything that's going on around me. And that's just something that I wanted to share. And later on, I'm going to share my story with everybody. I'm going to share my stuff that I've been going through, and stuff where God had spoken to me quite on point, and stuff that I had to deal with. And on that note, it's okay to be scared. I honestly believe that it's okay to be scared. We should just never let our fear interfere with our love for God and our dependency on God. And that's just something that I wanted to share with everybody. And by the way, I had dinner, which was peanut butter and syrup. It's my favorite snack, dinner. I'd eat it for breakfast. I'd eat it 3 times a day, but I only like crunchy peanut butter and the ones that you buy from Woolies. I don't like other peanut butter. Those are like the best. Also, I decided to test a little myth. I wanted to see if straightening your pages really works. I've done it with watercolor paper, but I wanted to see if it would work in my Bible, especially this one here. I haven't actually done it in my Bible. I've told people to do it because it works with watercolor paper. And then I actually decided, well, I'm going to do this myself now, so now I can actually talk from experience. And yeah, so thank you to everybody who asked me if I'm okay. Why haven't I posted? I'm so silent. Thank you for everyone who doesn't even know me, but who got in touch and reached out. I do believe that, I just believe that God knows that we need each other, and He always sends counsel and guidance at the right time and at the right space. And yeah, so I wanted to thank you for watching, and I hope that you enjoyed this video. It works, by the way. If you want to straighten your pages, it absolutely works. Just don't put it too high. Mine can adjust. I think I did it on 180 degrees. I don't know. In any case, I hope you have a wonderful day, and I hope that that if you are struggling, that know that God will never leave you nor forsake you, that you shouldn't fear, because He's with you, and nobody can hurt you. Like, nobody can touch you. They can try, but ultimately He's in control. God is in control. And I'm telling you this because I needed to hear this. And that's just it. I hope you have a wonderful day, and I hope that you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. And also, I will be uploading a trace version for this image to my Facebook page, so you can just go download it there. And I hope you have a wonderful day. Okay, bye.